Namaste. Today I will explain you something about how to write the board paper. Paper pattern for all subjects you know very well, but still I will explain you something about that also. Today whatever I will explain, that is all based on my discussions with senior teachers, board examiners, moderators. So just I am sharing what I know and which I got something from them, but definitely I assure you that whatever I will explain, you will be benefited. So let us start. You know that your all subjects board papers are of 80 marks and 20 marks are reserved for internal assessments. Means your school will give you on the basis of oral exams or on the basis of your internal submissions, school will give you 20 marks. Out of 20 marks you will get something. You may be knowing that your answer sheet, board answer sheet for mathematics subject is of 45 pages. Normally board expect that additional supplement is not required. You may not need additional supplement. That is why your original answer sheet of mathematics math subject is of 45 pages and for other subjects it is of 32 pages. Your answer sheet is not vertical but it is horizontal. It is of A4 size and your answer sheet contains only 16 lines. Why I am telling you? Because in my future further discussions, if I ask you to write answer of any specific question for one full page, means my requirement is you must write that answer for at least 16 lines. So because 16 lines is equal to one page. Every student's target is to secure 10 CGPA. How that CGPA board calculate? You need not bother about it. Board will take care of that. But 10 CGPA doesn't mean your score is 100%. Your score in actual percentage wise, your score will vary from 91% to 96%. And your 11th standard admission, college admission, junior college admission, for that admission your actual percentage or actual marks will be considered and board inform those marks to you through that mark list. Now today's main chapter, how to write board paper. This is normal saying that board exam is an exam of a technique. But what is that technique? In a simple way, that technique means impressing your examiner or moderator, presenting your answers in such a way so that he will be impressed, and everywhere if your content is good, then everywhere he will give you full marks. But for impressing that examiner or moderator, what to do? Understanding that method is a technique of writing board paper. And according to me, you must follow that technique from today itself. Because I know that many points which I will explain, you will find it very simple. And you may think that you will directly do it at the time of board exam, but it is not possible. Doing simple thing also needs a practice. So you start that practice from today itself. So start writing your answers as per my method or based on my method my explanation from today itself. Margin. In the board exam, don't draw big margins, because many students, what they do, from left side and from right side, they draw big margin just to show that your answer is big one. You have written many number of lines, but this is not good. This is the proper way of drawing a margin. This is board answer sheet, but as required, in the left hand side you can draw one or two additional margin lines, especially for SST and science. You need two additional margin lines, two additional small margin lines, and in that second small margin you will write point number, because in case of SST and science we normally write all answers in points. So point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, for writing that point numbers, additional margin line is required, because examiner just if he observe your answer, then at a glance he will come to know how many points you have written, and if point number is sufficient, he will get impressed. So for writing that point number, you need separate margin. Pen and ink. Which pen to be used? Any pen. It may be a ball pen, fountain pen, gel pen, but use only black ink or blue ink, not red or green, because those inks are reserved for examiners, moderators. So you can use only if your cancellation is less, or cancellation or overwriting, scratching is less, then I will suggest you to use black ink. In one page, if your cancellation or overwriting is just 1 or 2 times, then your writing is good as per my opinion, and in that case you can use black ink. But if your cancellation is more than 2, 3, 4 times, or maybe more than that, then don't use black ink, use blue ink. Underlining. If suppose in my further discussions, if I will explain you, or I am expecting you to write the answer of that type of question, minimum 10 lines. If suppose you write, instead of 10 lines, if you write 8 lines only, okay. But I am not okay if you don't underline important words, keywords, or maybe one whole statement which is very important. Because if you think that examiner will read each and every word what you have written, for example, if your answer sheet is of 32 pages and you have written from page number 1 to page number 32, if you feel or if you imagine that examiner will read first word from first word of first page to last word of last page, page number 35 or 32, whatever, then you are in fool's paradise. It is not possible for examiner to read each and every word, but it doesn't mean that without reading he gives you marks. Normally 10th standard examiner, he is experienced person, and if he just go through that answer, normally his vision, he collects the important words which are covered in the whole answer, and he comes to know, yes, he has written all points, he has explained well, and on that basis he will give you full marks. But for giving those marks, it is not necessary for him to read each and every word. But if suppose examiner, his vision or his eyes don't catch some important words, then who will be in a loss? You. He may give you out of 3 only 2 marks or 2.5 marks, because he may be under impression that you have not covered that specific point. So in order to avoid such loss, you must underline each and every important word, not whole statement, but important words, keywords, so that even if examiner will read those keywords, he will come to know, yes, he has covered all points and he will give you full marks. Examiner's work will be easier one. So underlining is very important point. Don't copy questions. We know some points we know, but still we are doing in a wrong way. So copying question is not necessary. If question number you write there, it is sufficient for examiner to understand which question you have covered. This is also very common thing, new section or new question on separate page. Rough work. Where to do the rough work, especially in case of mathematics and science? My suggestion is you start doing rough work on the last page of your answer sheet, not on the question paper, but last page of your answer sheet, and not where you solve the original sum, means where you do the fair work. Don't do rough work there. Your rough work must be on the last page only. Cancellation. Everybody expects that your paper must be very clean. There should not be any cancellation or overwriting, but it is not possible for everybody. 1 or 1, 2, 3 cancellation on each page is a normal practice of every student. But even if you cancel a single word, I am suggesting you to cancel that word by using pencil, not by pen. If you are writing regular paper by using suppose blue pen, and 2 words which you have written are wrong, and you want to cancel those 2 words, then just use pencil and cancel those 2 words in this way. First word, second word. In this way you cancel those 2 words. But normally what students they are doing, they are just rubbing it, and they expect that whatever you have written, as this is a so those are wrong words, examiner he should not come to know or understand what you have written. But if once you cancel it, then examiner he knows that you have written wrong words or you have used wrong words. That is why you have cancelled those words. So even if he will come to know what you have written, it won't affect on your marks. So my suggestion is cancel those 2 words by using pencil in this way only. Normally examiner expects your answer, suppose 8 lines, 10 lines. Normal, it is a psychological or practical or experienced expectation of examiner for each type, for every answer. And many times if you write many words, if your lettering is small, then you may write more than 10 words in one line. In that case, your answer will be a small one. If I am expecting your answer for 10 lines, then your answer may be You may have written each and every point, but your answer will be only of 6 to 7 lines. But what examiner will feel? His expectation is of say 10 lines and you have written everything in 6 to 7 lines. It creates bad impression. So in order to satisfy this examiner's psychological need, you must write that answer for 10 lines. But for that purpose, what to do? How to understand the examiner's expectation? Just do one thing. You write only 10 words, maybe 10 to 11 words, not more than that. Only 10 to 11 words in one line. And start writing 10 to 11 words at home also, because practice is required. And you will observe that suppose if you go back to home and observe what you have written in your terminal papers or unit test papers, then you must have written more than 10, 12, 13, 14 words in one line. And by writing such 13, 14 words in one line, the length of your answer will be less one or small one. So without considering what examiner is expecting, you just start writing only maximum 10 to 11 words in one line. This will satisfy the examiner's psychological requirement. Language of answer. The language of answer which you will write in the board exam, it must be your own language. Normally for all subjects. There are certain exceptions. For example, if you define something or if you are writing some rules, laws, principles, then that part will be strictly as per in the, as mentioned in the text. Means definition or rules, laws, principles, you will write ditto as given in the text. But for other all types of questions, use your own language, not language which is used in the digest, because examiner is expecting what you understood and he is not expecting or he don't want to judge your learning capacity. That is why you must write all types of questions in your own words. But in case of politics and economics, try to be very specific and everything must be as per the text. Means you try to use you try to write every answer as given in the text. In case of SST or science, normally your grammar or spellings are not checked. If there is a spelling mistake, nobody will deduct your mark. But if there are so many spelling mistakes or grammatical mistakes, it will create bad impression. And when your answer is correct and examiner he has the right to give full 3 marks or not, in that case he will not give you full 3 marks, maybe 2.5 mark. Why that half mark is deducted or reduced? There is no specific reason. You have written everything, but it is a psychological impact which is created because of your many spelling mistakes or grammatical mistakes. The examiner, he may deduct your half mark. If you ask to any SST or science teacher that sir or madam, whether you are checking our spellings or grammar also in that SST or science, definitely they will explain or they will say, no, we don't check that, we check matter only. This is correct. But if there are so many spellings or grammatical mistakes, the bad impression will naturally deduct your mark. They won't say that they have reduced or deducted your mark only because of those such type of mistakes. But yes, the fact is that you are likely to lose some marks for that. Now maths. There are 4 sections. For 1 mark, 20 questions will be there. Total 20 marks. B section 2 marks, 6 questions. C section 3 marks, 8 questions, total 24, and D section 4 marks, 6 questions, 24. So this is new or revised paper pattern. This is maths weightage, chapter wise weightage. If you observe, algebra weightage is maximum 1, 20 marks. And next to that, geometry 15 marks. All chapters are important, but focus on each chapter as per the weightage. Naturally, for algebra and geometry, as the weightage is of 20 and 15, 35 marks, you will focus more on those 2 topics. Your textbook covers less number of problems, so my personal suggestion is, for extra practice, you need reference books. For example, S. Chand, R.D. Sharma or Oswal Question Bank. For getting full marks or good marks, extra practice is required, and that practice I am expecting you to use those books. In construction chapter, marking of measurement is necessary. The diagram which you will draw, construction diagram which you will draw, measurement mark is required, and also write that in words. Only drawing a construction diagram is not sufficient. You must write that in words. Maths normally, my normal expectation is you must solve mathematics paper section wise and serially. Section A, section B, section C, D, in this way. Many students, they are good in maths and they want to create good impression. That is why they start writing with section D. But don't do that. In maths, you cannot keep any chapter for option, because even if there is a internal option out of those 2, in suppose question number 22, out of 2, this or that, you will have to solve one sum. But if 2 questions are from same chapter, then you will have to solve it. And for that purpose, you must be good in each and every chapter. In mathematics, in construction chapter, only drawing a good figure or correct figure is not sufficient. You must write steps also. In heights and distance application of trigonometry, drawing a figure is compulsory. In probability, writing a statement is compulsory. For example, let A be the event of getting so and so. This statement is important. Only A is equal to and directly solving that sum is not good. You may lose some marks for that. In geometry, figure or diagram is must or compulsory for every question. Question may be of 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks. But drawing a figure is compulsory. Normally in mathematics, algebra, geometry, we use for every step therefore or is equal to sign. Don't forget to give that sign. Between 2 steps in mathematics, between 2 steps, there must be a gap of 1 line. Don't solve any sum or any sum every step in that sum on each line. There must be a gap of one line. Final answer you must write in a box. In case of word problems, you must write final answer in a statement. For example, let father's age be X years and son's age be Y years. Then you cannot write your final answer as X equal to 50 years, X equal to 50 and Y is equal to 20. You cannot write final answer in this way. You must write final answer as therefore father's age is 50 years and son's age is 20 years. Observe those answer sheets which are written by good students. See how they have presented or solved those sums. There is a one line gap, box for final answer. Final answer is written in a statement. In geometry, sums which are based on theorems, actually you are writing proof of that theorem or solving sums based on that theorems, always use two columns. First column is statement and second column is reason, because sums based on theorems you are expected to write reason for every step, but many students they avoid it. If you provide separate column for writing reason, then definitely you will write reason in that column against each step. So statement and reasons, two columns must be there. In case of maths, all chapters you must write the final answer as given in the text. For example, in simultaneous equation chapter, if suppose your answer is x equal to 5 and y is equal to 3, then you must write the final answer as x equal to 5 and y is equal to 3 is a solution of given simultaneous equations. Many students they write answer as solution set is equal to and in curly brackets 5 comma 3, but correct answer given in the text is x equal to 5 and y is equal to 3 is a solution of given simultaneous equation, means that answer is in a statement, not in the solution set form. So observe how each type of sums answer is given in the text and start writing in that way only. In case of mathematics, you can use any method, because suppose your school teacher has solved any particular sum by using one method. In textbook there may be another method. In reference book or digest which you are using, there may be another method. Your tuition teacher may have solved that sum by using different method, and some good students they are using their own method. Then which method is correct one? Board is not specifying any method. Board expectation is your final answer must be correct, and for getting that final answer, sufficient or necessary steps you must have written. This is the simple requirement of board. So marks are not allotted or given for any specific method. You can use any method. Now science and social studies, those two subjects I am covering simultaneously. In those two subjects, science and SST, these are the types of questions which can be asked. This is science paper pattern. Section A, 20 marks. Objective or short answer questions are there. MCQs are also there. Section B and C both are for 30 marks. But section B will cover 3 marks questions and section C will cover 5 marks question. So in short, in your papers only 1, 3 and 5 marks questions will be asked in science. In social studies, SST, 20 marks objective questions are there. Then section B, 8 questions, 3 marks each question, so total 24 marks. And section C, 6 questions for 30 marks. And in addition to that, separate map question for 6 marks will be there, so total is 80 marks. For 3 marks question, you must write minimum 6 to 8 points, and the length of the answer in between 10 to 15 lines. We know that our answer sheet is of 16 lines, but I am expecting you to write minimum 10 to 15 lines for 3 marks question. Diagram is there for that specific answer. If diagram or maybe map is there in your text, then in addition to full explanation or writing full points, I am expecting you to draw that diagram or map also. Underlining is compulsory for all subjects, for all types of questions, because we know that examiner will not read each and every word. Long answer questions for 5 marks, minimum 8 to 10 points, and the length will be minimum 1 page. It may be 1.5 page also, but minimum 1 page answer you must write. But in case of long answer question, means 5 marks question, you must write separate introduction and conclusion. In addition to that, drawing a map or diagram as required, considering the nature of that question, you must draw it. Underlining is very important. And selection of question means if there are 2 options, out of 2 you will have to solve 1 question, and you are comfortable or good with both questions, then which question you should select. My suggestion is, if there is a map or diagram related to that question, then you select that specific question. Normally students, they are reluctant to draw diagram or map, and they are comfortable with writing more words or more lines or more lengthy answer. But for getting good marks or full marks, if you select the question which covers diagram or map, then you are likely to get good marks or full marks. In case of physics, draw proper ray diagram, arrow and measurement are compulsory. Learn valency chart properly, IUPAC nomenclature, more practice is required. Periodic table, groups and periods which are mentioned, you must learn them by heart. Biology, genetic ratios, learn them by heart. Terms which are used in genetics, you try to understand it properly, because you will have to mention those terms in your question paper as described or explained in your text. For biology, H. Chand book is good for more practice. All laws of genetics and definitions must be as per text, but this is a general statement. In case of SST and science, you keep it in mind that wherever you will have to write definitions, rules, laws, principles, or any specific statement, then it must be strictly or ditto as per the text. You cannot use your words in between that definition. Ecosystem, proper understanding of problems is must. Don't get confused. All these are common problems faced by students. Now just observe how to write those answers. In case of distinguish between, normally we write that answer by using 2 columns, but I am suggesting you to draw 3 columns. First column is point of difference. In that column you will just write point only. So examiner at a glance he will come to know which point you have covered. Give reasons. Write in points. For writing a point number, draw separate column and give point number as 1, 2, 3, 4 only, not A, B, C, D, E. Just I explained that in case of definition or explain the concept strictly as per text, but you must write example also. Only writing definition is not sufficient. Map filling. In map filling, accuracy must be there, proper labeling, using proper signs and symbols. Don't use any colors, only shading is allowed, and solve all questions. Fill the map in this way. In case of science problems or numericals, when you will solve any numerical, you must prepare or draw 2 separate columns. In first column, only those words will be there given to find, formula, solution and final answer. In this way, you will solve it. Balancing chemical equations or reactions. Properly draw arrows and solve it in this way. Only balancing reaction is not sufficient. You must give proper explanation. And reaction which is balanced, you must draw proper box. Means that chemical reaction which is balanced, you write it in the box only. Science diagram. Strictly as per the text, and I am suggesting you to draw a 12 centimeter box. One box will be there, and under that box you will draw proper diagram. As far as possible, labeling should be on one side, but it is not a rule. If some labeling is on other side, there is no problem. Proper dark pencil you must use. See, proper box is there, and under that box figure is drawn. I am sure that the explanation which I have given to you is sufficient. You will write your all means three subjects papers. I have not covered languages. Maths, Science and SST. You will write those 3 subjects paper as per the board examiners and moderators expectations. And what they expect, just I have explained you. I am sure that definitely you will change your paper writing method as per my instructions, and you will get good marks. Wishing you all the good luck. Thank you.